Hour number 3 of Live and Local for a Monday, a busy Monday, a newsworthy Monday, but obviously a lot of folks still talking about what happened yesterday with the National Football League. It's being called the best weekend of football in the history of the National Football League. And the fact that my Chiefs survived somehow, some way, absolutely amazing. I know he's been busy campaigning. In fact, he was over the weekend in Ely on his second swing through rural Nevada since launching the campaign. He is Adam Laxalt. He is the former Attorney General, and he's running for the U.S. Senate. Did you get a chance to watch any of that NFL stuff over the weekend?
Well, I definitely got a chance to watch that Chiefs game. 13 seconds. Wow.
Is that
unbelievable?
No, is it no? That and I even thought at 13 seconds, I said, well, he'll probably throw a couple of incomplete passes, and that's about all, and time will run out. And everybody where I was at was rooting for the Bills. I was the only one rooting for the Chiefs, and I ended up winning. Go figure. But no, that really was fun though. Wasn't that good?
Well, that Mahomes is just, that guy's magic, and the fact that he's so young, could prove to be one of the greatest of all time. And what we saw last night was absolutely unbelievable.
I know you were in Ely over the weekend. What were you doing? What were you talking about? And what were people talking to you about?
Yeah, so, there's a statewide Lincoln Day tour that it's important that we all do, all 17 counties, and that kicked off this past weekend. And so it gives us a great opportunity to go county by county, make sure that we're in touch with everybody, understand what they're worried about, make sure that we tell them what the stakes are. It's interesting because even since we last talked, where we're talking about the dire straits of our country, which our country is in dire straits, don't get me wrong, but we are seeing some big wins on our side. And I think people are really starting to feel motivated that, we may be able to save this project. And as a result, you got to keep reminding people that, they may have won in Virginia in a plus 10 blue state, but, none of us, of course, care about that election except for what it may mean for a very close swing state like Nevada. So now we got to make sure people understand we got to go finish the job. And we got to stay on offense. We got to stay on the march and not get complacent because we've got to save this state. And, we got to be part of the project of saving our country.
And, Adam, you've talked a lot about wanting to be that 51st senator. Now we're starting to hear numbers coming in that you might not be the 51st. You might be the 52nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th, that we may have a wave election on our hands. What are you seeing out there on the ground in all 17 counties?
Well, look, I think that, here's the problem. Even if we have a massive red wave in the country, there are only 4 races in the United States Senate that we can win. We don't have a candidate in one of them, and so Herschel Walker and I are widely considered as these Trump-endorsed candidates that are charged in the Hill. We're considered as the top 2 pickup opportunities. And so, unlike the House where if it's really red you can win, 40, 50 seats, we just don't have that opportunity. And I think the good news is, running this big of a U.S. Senate campaign against Harry Reid's replacements and all the things that go against running against an incumbent, you got to have a big campaign that understands how to, win on all levels. And so I think what we've done as a campaign is position us as the 51st seat. And I can tell you, you hear it on Fox, you hear it on all the prognosticators. They're saying Laxalt, 51st seat, Nevada, and that's really, really important because, someone like Masta and a lot of these Democrats, they barely need to lift a finger to raise money. And, we've got to do it the old-fashioned way with a lot of elbow grease. And so the good news, though, is because it's such a narrow map and because I have so much support, people understand that I'm going to be a conservative leader. And, I'm 43 years old, and people want me to be part of that next generation. We have a lot of support out there, people that are ready to match that massive Democrat spend, and we're going to need it because this is going to be the epicenter. In a few months, as all your listeners will hear now, they're going to never see so much TV and so many attack ads, but I'm ready. I'm tested. I've been through it now, and we understand we got to be on offense from beginning to end. And, we're not going to take anything from the media. As you may have noticed, Kevin, when the filibuster vote happened last week, the Arizona press was all over. Front page, who voted for the filibuster, who didn't. Well, as hopefully your listeners know, Catherine Cortez Masto voted to break the filibuster. She was going to support nationalizing our elections forever, and not a peep from Nevada media. And so we understand that environment. We understand it's incumbent upon us to get our news out, push that directly to voters, and that's what we're in the process of building.
Let me ask you, do you feel like Build Back broke, as we like to call it, and the voting rights and the filibuster, are they dead, or is Chuck Schumer going to come up with some sort of end-around play, to borrow a football analogy, that maybe they're not dead, they're going to chunk it out, they're going to downsize it? Do you think it's dead, or do you think all of this stuff is still alive?
Look, I think first and foremost, everybody needs to understand that Catherine Cortez Masto is a reliable vote for all of these terrible things. Nevadans do not want Build Back broke, as we're calling it. They did not want to break the filibuster. They do not want us to continue down this direction. She had a chance to be Kristen Sinema or to be Joe Manchin, and she passed. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about where she is and who she represents? She doesn't represent this state. And the great thing for us in this matchup is that she was a former attorney general, and I was a former attorney general. And so take the border. We just got news last week. You had all-time high, almost 200,000 encounters at the border in the month of December alone. And what is coming across that border? Fentanyl, all-time amount of drugs that are killing our kids in our streets. When I was in Ely, spoke to the sheriff. They had a big bus there hitting our rural communities, as you can imagine. Is she standing up against that stuff? Is she standing for a secure border that we quite obviously need for more reasons than just the drug epidemic? No. And so I think we have a great opportunity where Nevadans are fed up with all the failures of Washington, with all the failures of Joe Biden and the Democrat leadership, that Masto is just an absolute lockstep vote with them, and we need someone that's going to fight for us, and that's what I plan on doing.
And one of the things that I think has been fascinating to watch is the national media is glomming on to this election. And in fact, I saw an article, I think it was today, in the Washington Examiner, very complimentary of you and your campaign.
Yeah, well, they called it the 51st seat, and we had Newsmax did the same last week. And it's because, like I said, we don't have many opportunities to win the Senate. And the Senate is so important because, this is where we can stop the Biden administration dead in its tracks. We know that these people, they want to expand the Supreme Court. If they had the votes, we'd already have this federal voting rights bill, when we certainly shouldn't even call it a federal voting rights bill. It takes our voting rights away here at the state. But these are the radical things they want. They want to get rid of the Electoral College. They're going to push through really extreme appointees. And I'll take the opportunity to point out that President Trump nominated my Solicitor General, who was one of the most conservative Solicitor Generals we've ever had in this state. He's on the Ninth Circuit. He's 45 years old. He's going to be on there for life. He authored, out of the Ninth Circuit, that amazing Second Amendment opinion last week that said that California could not stop the selling of arms and ammunition in California because of the pandemic, because you shall not infringe. And so this is what's at stake with the Senate majority. And hopefully, Lord willing, we win, and I'm there. Be able to have someone like me that's able to vet these people and make sure we get true conservative judges. Not in the vein of John Roberts, but in the vein of Justice Thomas and, formerly, God rest his soul, Justice Scalia. But this is super important for the future of our country. It's something that, I'm ready to go on this, and it would be a huge priority for me.
Again, Adam Laxalt joining us, a candidate for U.S. Senate, former Attorney General. You have been very busy, not just crisscrossing the state, but you've been endorsed now, just since we last talked, I think, General Michael Flynn, Ambassador Rick Grinnell. They joined the former President Trump, Governor DeSantis, Tom Cotton of Arkansas, many, many more. People around the country, they realize the importance of this election, and they're backing you.
Well, look, like I said, these are huge endeavors. This is a massive, massive thing, a U.S. Senate race that is, one that has national implications. And so I need as many allies as possible. I've got Senator Tom Cotton helping me with something this week. We've got President Trump hosting me at Mar-a-Lago in a few weeks. We need to be able to have everyone pitch in. Because, again, I think your listeners know this by now. There is endless money on the left. The Soros money and all this left-wing money that is dead, hell-bent on transforming our nation. The good news is we can defeat that at the ballot box. And I think that we have our one opportunity in this state, in this cycle where people are absolutely infuriated with what's going on in our country. In basically every single direction we face, they are taking us the wrong way. Now is our chance to win a U.S. Senate seat back, hopefully win a bunch of other races, because that's what I hear. You ask me what I hear when I go around the state. I mean, most people are still a little despondent that everything is so blue and, is the state turning blue permanently? And my view is that this election is one that we can radically reverse the direction. And then if you get a bold conservative leader that is actually willing to sell our ideas and push our ideas, as I always did, as you know, when I was AG, I think we can actually change hearts and minds. And, we're seeing in the Hispanic community where President Trump was able to move that from, the 20s to almost 40%. And what did he do? He went against the orthodoxy when all of the elite Washington crowd and all the consultants said, don't talk about the border, don't be too hard on those areas. Well, obviously he was right. We need a secure border. And lo and behold, a lot of Hispanics believe with us that this is important. It's important for security. It's important for law and order in communities. And it's important for the American dream. People want a chance at the American dream, and the only way you have that chance is if you do this process in the legal and lawful way.
Adam, you are just incredible with your energy and the fact that you're going to all 17 counties. You're now going to be opening a Las Vegas office on what, February 5th? Is that the date?
Yeah, February 5th, we're going to have an awesome event. We're going to have former Ambassador Rick Grinnell. We're going to have former Attorney General Matt Whitaker. And many of your listeners may know Kash Patel, who was with Devin Nunes and part of helping bring down the Russian collusion hoax. And I know people really, really appreciate what he did to help kind of open all that up. And so, these are the types of real grassroots conservative leaders that are ready to come and help motivate our folks, get people engaged. And it's going to be an awesome event. If people can go to adamlaxalt.com, you guys can sign up. It's free, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And very quickly, if folks want to help your campaign, what is it at this juncture of your campaign that you need from my listeners?
Yeah, again, adamlaxalt.com. If you're willing to volunteer, if you're willing to put signs out, if you're willing to, start attacking Masto and all these radical ideas on Facebook and social media, we need it all. We need all hands on deck to save this state. We know big tech is out there suppressing our voice, which means that, we can't quit. It means we got to fight harder and be louder. And, take solace that people like Joe Rogan and others are breaking through. And they're becoming viral sensations for a reason, because people want to hear a different version of this manufactured, falsehoods that are coming out of the media and big tech. People want to be able to actually hear the truth. And it's our job to do that, voter to voter. And that's what your listeners can do.
I want to ask you one final question, and it involves winnability. Is that going to be a key factor in this race, who it is that can stand toe-to-toe with Catherine Cortez Masto? and win?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we've won statewide, and obviously 2018 was a rough blue year where Republicans lost up and down the state. But like I said at the beginning, this is a huge effort, and you've got to be battle tested. You've got to know what it's like to go through the belly of the beast. I mean, the media is going to be relentless. And I am so much better at understanding, thanks to President Trump, who taught a lot of us that you've got to be on offense. And you just can't just, take this stuff lying down. Governor Ron DeSantis, who has endorsed me, he's doing an amazing job just battling away. And so we are very ready to do that. And, we have a lot of people that know my conservative values, and they're going to want to support from all over the state and all over the country. And that's what it takes, because that's what the Democrats have. They have these giant heaping machines. Masta will have access to unlimited capital and a lot of support across the country. She still has access to the Reed machine, but we're ready to go. And we feel very, very confident with a couple polls already showing us leading today. And we're leading today, unlike, generic Republicans in some other states, because people know me, people trust me, we have a lot of name ID, and we're just right there, toe-to-toe with her right out of the gate, which gives us 10 months to build and prosecute this race and take her out.
Adam, be safe out on the campaign trail. I know we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much, my friend. You have a great week, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
There you go. Adam Laxalt, a candidate for the U.S. Senate and the former Attorney General, joining us right here on AM 670 KMZQ.